What bright spark came up with this idea, ladies and gents? A Robocop prequel TV series, which won't feature Robocop because obviously it's a prequel. Oh, wow, this is not a cash grab, is it? No, definitely not. 100% not a cash grab. 100% definitely not going to be absolute trash. What? Who comes up with this? Who comes up with this? And who's being paid potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to come up with this absolute shite? Anyway, whatever. This article is linked down below, Bounding into Comics. The Robocop franchise could return on the small screen, but Robocop's not going to be there. Super dumb. Super dumb. Now this comes off the back end of them doing like a Robocop 3 kind of a sequel, but not. Now Neil Blomkamp was attached to that. He since exited that. And there was some internal politics there as well, because Ed Neumeier, the guy who is spouting off about this, shouldn't have done the interviews he did when Neil Blomkamp was attached, because that was part of the catalyst of Neil Blomkamp leaving that role as director for Robocop. Now, look, this is inherently just such a bad idea. It's such a bad idea. You do not make a Robocop TV series and then not have Robocop in it. That's really, really dumb. And it screams creative bankruptcy, no ideas, and really just a cash grab. And people are wised up to it now. People aren't idiots. I mean, they are idiots, but they're wising up to this crap. This is garbage, and people know it as well. Now, first revealed by the original film screenwriter Ed Neumeier. Again, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be telling him to shut his mouth. In an interview with moviehole.net, the project is in the pipeline at MGM and will not feature Robocop. Brackets, yeah, seriously, yeah, because like you hear it and it sounds like a bad joke, doesn't it? It sounds like a parody. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a parody. Now, the series will follow Dick Jones, the crooked executive from the first film, who was obviously played by Ronny Cox, during the early days of Omni Consumer Products and the company's rise to power in Detroit. Now, I bet you anything, this is going to be a Trump allegory. Just view it now. Dick Jones, crooked executive, Omni Consumer Products, Omnicorp. Rising to power. It's going to be a Trump allegory, isn't it? Of course it is. And again, right, let's just say, because Robocop was quite satirical. That's not inherently bad. But it's really played out now, and we've seen it in literally everything. It's kind of, it's like the same joke you've heard 20 times. It starts to wear thin when you start to hear it 20 more. We've heard this 20 times, and now we're starting to hear it again and again and again. Everything's a Trump allegory. Everyone hears it. Regardless whether you support Trump or not. Yeah, it might have been funny initially, but now it's kind of a bit boring. Again, whether you support him or not. Fine, just play another record, mate. Play another goddamn record. Now, they've not said it, but you can bet that's what it's going to be. Now, fans will probably ask where Alex Murphy, or the cyberpunk law enforcement aspect of the franchise, fits into the show. And the short answer is that they don't. Now, he says, this is Neumeier, he says, I'm working at MGM on it. It has all the cool stuff about Robocop. Except Robocop. Doesn't that sound cool? No, it doesn't. However, despite this major omission, Neumeier noted that the first time I heard it, I knew it was a cool idea, because I could see a lot of things that you could do with it. Trump allegory. And found that it's such an interesting character. But though the interview does not make clear whether he's talking about Murphy or Jones. He's going to be talking about Jones. And yeah, Yeah, it's going to be an interesting character. But again, how many times can you tell the same story? You know, how many times can we do the same thing? You know, I'm not against taking the piss out of Trump. I don't care. I couldn't care less. Take the piss out of Boris Johnson. No one cares, right? But it's just the fact that we've heard it. We've heard it. This is creative bankruptcy. It's boring. Neumeier explained that Murphy's story is besides the point in his new series and discussed how the story would focus on the story of business, tech, law, and Silicon Valley run amok. Now there's an interesting idea. Silicon Valley. You know? Why don't we explore that? Why don't we explore how they, you know, manipulate things and how they censor certain political agendas over others and boost others and all this kind of stuff. That's interesting. Not an allegory that we've seen 20 times. Now there's the idea of doing things about business and law enforcement in the city of Detroit a minute and a half in the future. It would be a way to do all sorts of stories about business and tech, Silicon Valley, corporations, snakes in suits, cops, all that. And obviously, this sounds suspiciously like the Year 1 Gotham PD drama that Matt Reeves is developing. Yeah, it does. God damn. Absolutely lame. So anyway, he continues and says, so we've been talking about it, and I think we have an interesting story. And further note says, about the evolution of Richard Jones to Dick Jones, the story of OCP, and how the world moves into the future, how the corporate world behaves. It's fun to work with a younger version of the Dick Jones we meet in Robocop. He's an actualized corporate predator, but nobody necessarily starts out being the bad guy. True. But can you see how this will end up sort of being that allegory crap? It's just boring. It's really, really boring. Neumeier's optimism aside, fans across social media gave mixed reactions to the proposed series, with most fans failing to see the point of Robocop-related media without Robocop. Some questioned whether the series should be made given the ongoing social unrest currently taking place within the United States. Twitter, and that's the other thing as well. Isn't that interesting? They'd make a Robocop without the cops. What? I don't know. Anyway, 52. I think 52 movies follows me, actually. Maybe? Or maybe I just see them a lot. Who knows? But anyway, they say that, you know, live shots of mostly peaceful protests from 2020. A reference to the tendency of mainstream media outlets to describe the recent wave of riots as peaceful protests. You know, this is all to do with other bits. But the point is, 90% of the point of Robocop is to watch the big, shiny Lawborg kick ass, and conversely asked if now is the best time for Robocop anything. I don't know. Also, is now the best time for Robocop anything? Look, at the end of the day, I think this could be something. You know, this Robocop prequel with no Robocop sounds like the worst idea than developing a series of the Kents before that alien baby landed on the property. That's the thing as well. Like, these worlds could be interesting, but they lack the key thing that made them interesting initially. Instead of Robocop, we get Normal Cop. Yeah, I don't know. This is super boring. You can see that they're just going to tease him as well. They're going to be like, oh, there he is, Murphy. Oh. And you're like, oh, yeah. We know your fate. That's what it's going to be like, guys. It could be nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Is this episode going to be the episode he's going to go? No! That's what it's going to be. Murphy will strut in. Like, oh, yeah, is he going down today? Nope. We got ya. That's what it's going to be. Super boring. It's a prequel, and it's about how the world ended in the chaos we start the movie in. I don't know, I think this is lame as hell. No offense to Peter Weller or the folks freaking out about the proposed Robo-less Robocop prequel show, but the coolest thing about Verhoeven's brutal satire with the tone and the bad guys, as long as the show features Dick Jones and Clarence Boddicker, I'm in. And that's the thing. Yeah, but it sounds like they're going for that boring allegory we've seen time and time again, which is creative bankruptcy. It's just boring. It's done. Nah. You know, and then the article starts to touch on like Joel Kinnaman's Robocop and all that stuff and everything else. And it's all a bit, you know, whatever. Who cares? At the end of the day, I think this is super, super lame. I don't see the point. It's a blatant cash grab, and it can suck my fat wang.